Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com. Today I have tips on organizing all of your Cricut machines and all of the tools. All right, here is what is happening. Things in my craft room are changing because I'm using certain tools a lot more than I used to do. There was a time period where I barely used my Cricut. I actually have a Cricut Maker 3, a Cricut Maker, and a Cricut Explorer. That was my very first Cricut from forever ago, and I love them, and I've been using them. I used them when I got them, and then I took a big break. Well, now I'm using them all of the time because I'm creating a lot of different things for my shop over on my website and for my Patreon members. And so I need to update my Cricut organization because everything is just kind of shoved in some Alex drawers. I have 3 Cricuts. I have another Cricut on the way. It makes it sound like I have a baby on the way. Another Cricut machine on the way. And so I needed to update where my Cricuts are going to be and the storage possibilities. And I'm super excited to share with you what that is going to look like. So first of all, here is the space that I'm using right now. I have 2 Cricuts right there. I love them right there. These 2 Cricuts happen to have wheels on the bottom. I will try to link those wheels. You just stick them on your Cricuts and it makes them very easy to roll around on your desk space. So I have those 2 right there. I have a silhouette back there that I don't really use. And then this one got pulled out of storage because I needed it or I wanted to use it. And then of course I have another Cricut Explorer Air 2 actually on the way right now. So I need a space for my 2 Explorers. And this is what I'm thinking. So we're going to just shift over here. I have this awesome kind of vintage ladder piece right here that I'm using to store vinyl. Still love that. I probably need to destash some vinyl, but I'm thinking that I could put something right here that will hold the Explorer Air 2s, and we're going to see what I found. All right, so a company reached out to me. They're called Crafit, and they have several different Cricut organization carts, and they were wondering if I would be interested in reviewing one of the carts. Now, when you start a YouTube channel, you actually get a ton of invitations to review all kinds of things. And normally I turn them down because I only want to have things on my channel that I personally am really excited about and that I think you guys would be interested in checking out. So a lot of times I turn those down, but this one was just the perfect timing and the perfect fit. And I knew I was going to be updating my Cricut organization. So I headed to their store on Amazon and I checked out what their cart looked like. I think it's going to be a really nice solution for me. So I have that right here. I'm going to bring you guys along with me as I put it together, get it set up, and we're going to kind of check it out and see how it works. So with no further ado, wish me luck because it's definitely a heavy flat box and I'm going to put it together and let you know what I think. All in all, this took me about an hour to do, which is what it says it will take in the instruction book. It was pretty straightforward if you've assembled furniture from IKEA or pretty much any store that comes in a flat box, then most of these instructions are going to be really familiar to you. So you have the full instruction manual. There is a QR code where you can see video assembly, which probably would have been helpful because there was one little section that I got lost. Of course, I put some pieces on backwards that had to be reassembled, kind of typical things that go wrong, but for the most part, pretty smooth, pretty straightforward, and I enjoyed working on it. I always feel very accomplished when I get these projects put together. think there is a huge advantage to keeping your Cricut on a cart. And here's the reason why. Generally, Cricuts have to be pulled out from the wall because the mat is going through. You need plenty of space behind it. I don't like to have mine sitting out in the middle of the countertop all of the time. I feel like it takes up extra space. And even though I've started to use these a lot more, there's certainly times where I would prefer to have the countertop space over having my Cricut set up ready to go all the time. So that being said, having it on a cart where I can wheel the cart out when I'm ready to use it, I can push the cart against the wall when I am done with it, I think that is really helpful and something I'm very much looking forward to having. I would actually love to know how many of you have multiple cutting machines, whether you have multiple Cricuts, maybe a Cricut in a silhouette, maybe a large die cutting machine that you like to have out. Something like this would be really helpful for that as well. Let me know who is organizing multiple cutting machines. I know that is definitely a little bit of a luxury, and I'm super thankful that I have the ability to have more than one, but it can be a little complicated even in a space the size of mine, just making sure that everything has a place and is still functional and beautiful. Now, there are a few parts of this cart that I am opting not to put on my cart. First of all, there is a rack that goes on the side that is designed to hold your vinyl with dowel rods, which is fabulous. I am not wanting to hold my vinyl on this cart. I am planning on using it for Cricut supplies and for paper, things I use with my Cricut, but the vinyl already has a place to live. So I'm actually just going to leave it off. I'm just not going to put that rack on. There's also some inserts that go into some of the open spaces that will allow you to hold additional vinyl. I think you can get 20 plus rolls on this cart, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, having all of your Cricut supplies in one place is huge. I will also say there is a big plus to limiting where your vinyl can go and having it limited to this cart, 20 plus rolls of vinyl. That's a lot of vinyl, and it's nice to use the containment system, meaning when that much is filled up, when you've taken up all those spaces, that shows you have enough vinyl. If you bring in more, it means you must be ready to get rid of one. So keeping it all organized on this cart will really help you kind of limit yourself, which, you know, sometimes is easier said than done, but limit yourself to what you can bring into your space. Because I think a lot of times, a lot of us are bringing so many things into our creative spaces. We get so excited, we forget what we have and we forget to use what we have. I will say that the hardest part of assembling this particular cart was the drawer, not this particular section of the drawer, but getting the drawer inserted into the cart. It turns out the instructions for removing part of the apparatus, part of the runners that holds the drawer, were on the last page, and I never flipped over to the last page, so I got very frustrated. Had to call my husband down. We looked, and then there were the instructions. So if you're like me, make sure to flip through all of the instructions. There's just a little clip that you press to get part of the drawer runners out, which make it a lot easier to attach those to the drawer. This would actually fit perfectly if I did not have that ladder right there, but I love my ladder. So that's going to be, that it'll stick out ever so slightly. So I can have it come this way, and which is probably what I will do when I'm working. Otherwise I can push it over against the ladder right here, and it tucks away pretty nicely into this corner. Then I can just stack my machines. This is my older Cricut Explorer. And then, like I said, a new one is on its way and it will go on the large shelf underneath. The drawer is fun. It can be filled with all kinds of things. These are bins from the home edit, my scrapers, some extra cutting tools, the weeding tools, all of that, all of my Cricut pens, the transfer pens, and the regular kind of standard pens. Love all of those. So they're going to fit all in one place. I had them at Alex drawers. They were getting lost. So I like that all of this category can be right where my Cricut supplies are. Plus, using bins within this larger drawer just helps keep everything organized and in its place. Also, I love that there is a hook on the side for your cutting mats. I have a ton of cutting mats. I'm going to switch them out. These are going to be the ones that are in rotation. When they're done, I can go back to my stash and pull out some more. This is a bunch of cardstock that I have big plans for with my Cricut. So it was kind of just shoved in my closet. Now it can be over here with all of my Cricut cutting supplies. So that can go in place. I also have some sticker paper that I've been using on the regular. I keep it in backstock, so we're going to keep it right there. And some really heavy white cardstock as well. It can find a home. All right, here is the final product. So I made some adaptations based on what I was going to need. I did not need any more vinyl storage because of course I have a lot, and I do have another Cricut Explorer that's going to go right there, so I wanted to leave that open. But I love that all my Cricut tools are right here. That is fantastic. All the tools I need, all the paper that I'm currently using stored right there. So that is perfect, and I can wheel it and turn it when needed for when I have a lot of projects going on at once. I am super pleased with the final product, and I think it's going to help me as I begin reorganizing this whole space to make room for one more Cricut and to kind of get things reorganized in this area. I will make sure to link this down below. Be sure to check it out if you're looking for some ways to organize all of your Cricut supplies. It's nice to have it all in one place. I think that's going to make a big difference in my productivity for sure. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you so much for your support. We're having a fabulous time over on Patreon, and we would love for you to join us. So check out the link down below for that. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.